So yeah, speaking of perfect picks, let's move to our question of the week. Who do we think most improved after the draft?
And
Chargers.
heck, man, speaking of these Chargers and Broncos, the Broncos might be the most improved team besides the Bears. I think the Bears. I think for if we're talking about who elevated their team the most, not who like went from like, oh, we're a perennial playoff team to now a championship team. That's it. But who like elevated their team from
I mean,
because the
Bears are
Bears.
obvious. Yeah.
I
Bears to me
think
have done it through progressively throughout the offseason.
But are
I
the
mean
Bears gonna
Caleb
Bears?
Williams alone like kind of
Sure.
right. Caleb Williams
And
and
Roma
then getting in
Medusa.
Roma Dunes, right? Like those
That's obscene.
that's a
Yeah,
right.
that's because of the fucking Atlanta Falcons being the
And
Atlanta
then they even
Falcons
got
didn't
a
think they
pretty
could
good
beat,
damn
bro.
tap. Like so um those two picks alone are it's tough to say they didn't like
Yeah.
shoot way, because who knows? The sky's the limit. If Caleb is what we think Caleb
At the
is,
very
then
least, those assholes will better be fun to watch.
that right.
Yeah.
But I think after like the Broncos are a team that I think greatly improved. I think the Bo Nix pick, while it's obviously not, it's the sixth quarterback, right? So how good can he be? Although if we go back to that 83 draft, the sixth quarterback taken in the first round was Dan Marino. Uh, but with Denver, I think he's a guy who has played a ton of football, right? I think he set a record for the most college games ever played.
Yeah.
He's been kind of a journeyman too. He's been under quite a few, I think like three different offensive systems. I know he doesn't throw the ball down the field a ton of times, right? Far down the field, but he plays in a system,
Yeah.
right? He's
Yeah,
used to
that's the
playing
system that
in a
Oregon played.
system that's about getting the ball out and timing. And that's exactly what Sean Payton's offense is. I think he's great fit for for the team.
Yeah.
Like while he's not as physically gifted as a lot of the other guys ahead of him, and I think he's ready to. I think he's more ready to go day one than some of them. Right? He doesn't need a ton of development because again, he's played a ton of ball. So I think he works really well for Sean Payton and that team, and they have good offensive pieces to complement him. Right? They gave him his number one wide receiver in college,
Yeah.
comfortable with. They've got Sutton there, who's great veteran wide receiver for him on the other side. So he's got two guys right there that that he believes he can rely on at least. So
Yeah, I think the problem is still your coach.
well, we're gonna see. This is it. This is it for Sean Payton. You took your quarterback. You got you are building your offense now. This is it for you. Are you any good?
Yeah.
Are you what you say you are? If
Yeah,
you are,
I
then
kind of think they're stuck in hell.
here you go.
Hey,
I think
so
the Chargers are still better, and obviously we're still better.
I think another team that has greatly improved because of the draft is the Lions. I think they addressed their
Lions did
biggest
really well.
weakness
The
at
Lions,
the DB position.
Yeah, they definitely doubled down on that. They did some good work at that position.
And honestly, that's that's what killed them this season.
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. Oh, and man, killed him in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. I think they easily could have made the Super Bowl had they had some DBs. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to say they're really weak anywhere else.
yeah, I mean kicker,
They weren't.
Yeah.
but then again, Dan Campbell doesn't really, he's gonna go for it on fourth down, and
They
Yeah.
also
I know a lot of people gave him shit about going for it in that playoff game, but you go into the playoffs playing the same game you always play, and that's the game that Dan Campbell plays. So
Mm-hmm.
also grabbed a safety in the fourth round, so they continued beefing up that secondary throughout the
Secondary.
because like
Mm-hmm.
you said, their secondary was trash.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders
Yeah.
got Bowers.
Yeah, the Raiders did get
So
Brock Bowers.
that could
Did
be
miss out on the
scary.
quarterbacks, but I think they made the right move not trading up for one.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, they're just man, they're fucked this year.
Yeah, they're
Aiden
definitely
O'Connell.
they're gonna ride that Gardner Minshew train, dog. It's a fun ride. It's a fun ride.
Why you don't think AOC? You don't think Aiden
Maybe
O'Connell's gonna win that?
AOC, maybe AOC, but I think you got to think
Wow.
Gardner as the front runner.
Boom.
Uh, who do you think was the most improved after the draft, Sneaky?
See, I think the
Yeah,
Lions are so close to being like a championship team already that they don't have much to improve, right?
Yeah, and
As far as like
I don't
who
think
is
they're the most
the
improved, but
most,
I think that they hit exactly where they needed
Yeah,
to.
and that can
that's good.
be sometimes the most important thing, you know. I mean,
It can be. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, again, other than the obvious Bears, for me, it's going to be the Chargers.
It's not a
The,
bad, yeah, not a bad pick there.
they've got just the way they're building their team. I think I don't know if they're like I don't even I don't know if they're going to be this like the second best in our division this year, but like from where they started in the offseason to what they look like now, I think they're the most improved.
That's true. They
Because
may be.
they had massive issues.
Chargers once again won the offseason. What do you know? Except for the wide
Yeah,
receivers. Get a wide receiver, Jesus Christ. Like you did, but you could use a little veteran help.
I mean they lost their both of their wide receivers.
Yeah. Um,
Keenan Allen. I mean, but the thing with Mike Williams is like they never had him anyway. He was
Yeah,
always
he was always hurt.
those two guys were never on the field together. Like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, like
never.
hardly ever. They're both scary as hell. Hated playing against them, but didn't have to worry about it half the time.
So you know what? I'm gonna pick somebody different. Do the Minnesota Vikings. I like that. Like JJ McCarthy, they kept the minimal. Like whenever I thought you're gonna give up 2 first-round picks to get him, I
Yeah.
hated it. And plus, I think bringing him into this situation,
What do we think about them hopping up one to get JJ? Who are
I
they?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
Who are they? Who are they hopping in front of?
Denver.
Well, you remember like the Broncos made them think they were.
Yeah,
LeBron, right? Was that
yeah.
Sean? Is that what Sean's like?
But I mean, I
Oh,
think that's just Sean saying it because he
I
missed
I tricked the Vikings into like
giving up minimal draft pick.
giving up to the Vikings
Yeah.
They
trading.
had
Just
extra.
Wow, Sean,
I
fucking
He's
I
fucking genius.
I
40
tricked a
chest moves,
team.
buddy.
I tricked a team in the other conference to like give up minimal draft compensation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the AFC West, and I just fucked the NFC North real good.
Right, right.
A
You
division
got
that-
him.
Hey, I wasn't
You-
able to beat him in the playoffs, but the Minnesota Miracle, I got you back for you, son of a bitch.
Actually,
Going nobody
someone tell Sean Payton that we played their division last year, actually. So
But anyway, I like the pick of JJ McCarthy whenever they only had to move up 1 spot for it instead of having to move up into the top 5 for him.
Yeah,
And bringing him on board with, Justin Jefferson, of course. And
Jettis.
Addison's been
he's going to a good situation, and I think
Aaron Jones, when he's healthy, is a very, very good running back. And I think Aaron Jones with a chip on his shoulder might be a good thing.
he's got everything he needs. He's got a good offensive minded coach, right?
Yeah.
He's got a great offense just around him. I don't know. I think their offensive line is pretty good, right? They've got some guys.
Not terrible.
Maybe.
I mean, but also what I
Quarterback.
like is in the second, and they used another first-round pick and got one of the best defensive players in the whole draft because of Atlanta passing on him. They took Dallas Turner at freaking 17. They traded back up.
Yep.
So, I mean, they made.
Good job. Good
I
job.
really like those two right there, really hammer it home this draft for them, but I think it helps them improve a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They did also take a place kicker.
Look, if anybody should value the kicking spot, it is the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. They did that in the 6th round. I mean, they got a corner.
There's a team that knows that it's important to have a kicker that can come through.
Yeah, it was like the only thing they really didn't get that they needed was a running back and a guard. But I mean, if you miss out on a guard in a draft, I'm not going to be mad because almost every guard feels like a reach. in the draft.
Right.
Almost everyone.
Yeah. All right.
Well, let's
There we
move
go.
on to NBA playoffs, boys.